Welcome to Compassion Speak. These podcasts explore spiritual and self-care topics, adding wisdom, creative ideas, and strategies to play with, to increase your options and explore how to show up in a way that is new. My name is Allison. I'm a medical intuitive, a chaplain, and a spiritual teacher at Journey Within in Lakewood, Colorado. This is my co-host, Cleo. She is a light worker, a glass artist, and as my student, has offered to take a deep dive into emerging gifts and talents. Welcome, Cleo.
Good morning, Sean.
In class this week with the students, we were talking about seniority, certainty, and grace. And I really like how all of them interconnect. To begin with, let's say certainty is I know what I know that I know. It's experientially driven, and it cannot be disputed because it is your interpretation and your preferences on how you see the world. It's what you take in. I think this is really important. It allows one to be confident and certain in their experience. And it allows a generous space to take in information and experiment with it, play with it, see how it fits for you. And it really is the foundation for empathy. If I can step into that, I know what I know, that I know, and offer that to someone else, it allows for clarity between the two experiences. If I assume that if I was in your position, I would do exactly what you're doing, it makes the most sense for this moment to be doing what you're doing. By trusting that, there's a degree of which I do not understand, and that is a point of discovery where I can learn, where I can try on new experiences, and where I can learn from your perspective and preferences. I think this is really important in relationships, in communication. So if I allow myself and for you that generous space of stepping into what we know, then our truth can nourish each other. So that's about certainty. Seniority is this idea that as I manage my space, my personal surroundings, you might call it your countenance, your presence, your aura, everything within that experience reveals the confidence, the vulnerability, the receptivity that I have to what's going on around me. And the more I hold that space with reverence, with a degree of curiosity, and a level of security and safety, it allows me to navigate my surroundings with this ability to take in and to contribute at a much higher level because I'm not second guessing the experience. I'm taking what I know and I'm applying that to action. So, third, the concept that we are going to play around with today is grace. And this is a very generous space that allows you and I to be in conversation this morning and really step into what is trying to happen that will never happen again. This is a unique time, a moment that can really offer us something fresh and new. And standing in that seniority, being in that place of what I know and how I am connected to that truth, then the conversation between us can truly be something special. So, how's that for an introduction?
Wow. So this is interesting because I think each time we try to nail down a definition on any of these, we're kind of aware of the continuum, right? Certainty, like if you can't own what you know about yourself and you walk around constantly searching for an answer to things that only you can really know the answer to about yourself, your own truth, then it leaves one in this incredible position of not being able to seize or use one's own best qualities.
Oh,
And
good observation.
so while and then at the same time, if we decide that we know everything about ourselves, we become hidebound and we can't grow. If no one can tell us something new about ourselves, then we're trapped. We can never grow. We can never learn anything. We have to always be in a position of wondering if there's more or wondering if we're seeing things right so that we can bring new things online. And at the same time, if we can't have sort of a core of, I know this is true, I know this is true for me, this is super important, and I'm going to stand by this, if we don't have that core, we can't really function. We can't really maneuver or have enough confidence to be able to just be ourselves in a positive way day after day. But I think,
Yeah, I think
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I yeah. I think that what we are working towards as we reflect and mirror each other in conversation is bringing that focal point back to the continuity so that we're identifying that alignment in each other,
That
where
is a
inspiration can come down and then at the point of the heart chakra, at the point of relationship, bring inspiration to our actions and really change the direction of how we show up and
I
what we can do with that awareness.
Yeah, I can see that continuity when you said that. Like I could see like this line of consistent, a consistent center that is our center as we move through life. That there's this line, and it can't exist without that stable understanding and that willingness to really put our roots in. I know what I know, and just be willing to own and identify ourselves with our deepest truth, that we have to be confident and solid and anchored to who we truly believe we are on a very, very deep level, in order to be able to have enough consistency to be able to do anything. Because when we're flopping around all over the place, there's nothing, there's no strength for any of our actions to originate from. There's nothing to
I think
push
that,
off of.
oh, very good. I think that what makes this work so well is the ability to toggle between the third dimension, what I have um, available as resources, and how I use them today, being able to move from that material world into a spiritual dimension where I can access a broader context and keep in mind who I was yesterday and still have the hope for tomorrow, and being able to bring it back to this very potent and fertile moment.
Yeah, the it's very interesting how these three things really do dovetail together. When you brought up seniority, and we're talking about seniority, what came up for me was, again, the idea that um, we have to have our own faith in ourselves. We have to have our own identity and have our roots in who we think we are, have our roots in the fact that we believe that we have the right to make a decision for ourselves, and that we trust that. Um, and then we also have to, on the other end of the spectrum, if we don't have the ability to question ourselves and look a second time at whatever our decisions are, then we don't have the ability to change and grow. But still, if we don't have that core that tells us that we have given ourselves permission to be the authority in our own space about our own truth, about what we need, about what we want, that we can't really move forward or grow. We would just be kind of dragged around, tossed around by whatever's happening, whatever other people are doing.
I like that. I'm sitting here looking at a sign that a friend gave to me for Christmas, and it's taped up to my door, my sliding door on the van.
Mm-hmm.
It says, "Good things are supposed to happen to me."
That's nice.
Isn't
I
that a
love
great
that.
intention?
Yeah, that's great.
So it kind of leaves you with this inquiry of looking for the qualities in the surroundings that are good. And I think that those types of intentions really help um, solidify that certainty and that seniority.
Mm-hmm.
And it also helps us to be able to access the grace of that's built on trust,
Mm-hmm.
that as good things happen, that I will be able to notice them
Yeah.
by um, I think I think it requires practice and awareness and um, a desire to be able to shift and become aware of and step into um, that possibility.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting. this topic. I remember very much being uncomfortable when this came up in class and not real happy about it. Partly because I myself have relied so heavily on my connection to the angels to give me direction in recent years. And I've really had to backtrack on that a lot. It's very, very interesting seeing how I'm pushed continually over and over again back towards this understanding, towards the understanding of if I don't own my own truth, no one can really help me. In a way, if I don't own my own truth, it's sort of like you go to a restaurant with your partner or with your family, if you have kids, and your kids will not pick anything, or your spouse will not pick anything. And you ask them over and over again, what do they want? What would they like? They won't pick anything. It's like they don't even want to be in this restaurant. You ask them what restaurant did they want to go to? Why is it that there's nothing on the menu that they want? And they say, well, I don't even know. I don't know. Well, would you be happier if we went to the Mexican restaurant? Did you want pizza? Did you want Chinese? I don't know. If somebody can't own their truth and can't stand up for what they want, no one else around them can. There's part of the interaction between us has to involve me telling you what I want. If I don't tell you what I want, then you are left in this position of either imagining what I want, trying to fulfill something that you're just making up in order to, maybe going off past experience. Well, Cleo liked pizza last week, so we'll go to the pizza place again. Maybe we can repeat that success. There's this sense of trying to read somebody's mind. If they won't tell you what they want, if they tell you what they want, there's this immediate connection of, oh, we can do this. We have this in common. We can do this together. We will both enjoy it. If I hate pizza and you love pizza, or then it's known. It's a certainty. Okay, well, that's only going to make one of us happy, so let's look for something else. None of those transactions can happen if we can't step up and say, I don't like pizza. Or, I definitely like pizza. If we're not able to own our truth and share it with somebody else, then we can't, there can't be the transaction of friendship.
This really speaks to my learning process. I think the only way that the truth can set you free is by switching from it being an environmental condition, like a rule, a policy, a law, and bringing it inside of my experience, which turns into a relationship. How is this affecting me? How am I affecting it? How does it represent me? At the very beginning, it feels very awkward and new and uncertain. And as I begin to appreciate and tinker around with it and look at how it is affecting me and how I can make use of it, I think something magical happens that we can begin to measure and to evaluate the potential for the experience, and to not just become known because I have experience and practice with it, as I'm offering it to you, it begins as theory until you try it on and figure out how it benefits you.
So you're talking about a relationship with the truth, or your relationship with somebody else?
Both. First of all, the relationship with truth. Before it becomes truth, it's a theory or an idea, and an outside concept that you are bringing into your personal space, into your thoughts and imaginings, and through the process of exploring how that information is beneficial. At the point that it becomes known is the realization that I have already experienced it. So this is true for me. And as I'm sharing it with you, then it begins as an idea and can grow into something that you can make use of. So as we look at it from a relational standpoint, being able to allow for information and trusting that the experience that you have is based upon your exercising and experimenting with that information.
So you're talking about like how our responsibility for creating our experience, like these are the roots, that if we can own our truth, if we can own our sovereignty, we can recognize all the ways and control and bring to our benefit all the different ways that our attitudes and our behaviors create the world around us, create others' reactions to us, create the situations that that we walk into, that we walk out of. That all of those things are fueled by our understanding of ourselves and our owning of our own power. If I walk into that restaurant and I'm sitting there and nobody can make up their mind about what they want to eat, it's my power is my decision of what to do in that situation. And if I don't own my own power in that moment, then I can't get up and say, I really wanted pizza. I'm going to the pizza restaurant. You guys can figure out what you want, and I'll meet up with you later.